Yo, it is your boy, Nice versus Wild, and you're listening to another episode of Beowulf Sessions. Thank you for tuning in. This is a very special episode. We're recording this on the last day of 2023. I've got my main man, Renan, here. He's literally the backbone of Future Studio, Future Weddings. Honestly, I'm just so honored to finally be able to do this, because I know me and you are always so busy trying to run the business that we never really get an opportunity to do this, but we're making a big commitment today. We're going to be recording 10 episodes, one episode every year for the next 10 years, because at Beowulf, we only work in decades. That's the go. And I'm excited for this first session, bro. I think it's going to be quite an empowering and inspiring session. And I'm really excited to really understand your story and your journey, because you've made such a massive impact in my life over the last 12 months, or last almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And hopefully I get a chance to share that in this session as well, because I want everybody to know the impact that you've had on my life. But who cares about me, man? Let's talk about you. Can you, because obviously nobody, let's do your introduction, because I feel like I know you too well. But if you can introduce yourself for the Beowulf listeners, where you're from, what you're all about, a little bit of your origin story.
Yeah, sure. So hello to everyone out there listening to the Beowulf sessions of podcasts. This time is the last time for 2023 season, but this is a commitment. So we have 10 years from now to reveal this first one.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention, Renan has a very sexy Portuguese accent. So just for all the listeners, you might have to slow this session down just so you understand the words. But I promise you, it's going to be worth it, because this accent is way too sexy not to listen to. So yeah, bro, go ahead.
So I'm Renan, and I'm a Brazilian guy, a Brazilian filmmaker, a Brazilian creative, and a Brazilian that doesn't live in Brazil.
That's true. So when did you leave Brazil?
I left Brazil in 2029.
Wow.
I left Brazil to Portugal.
Yeah.
And I moved there. I just had my gear backpack on me and a luggage of 23 kilos. And I took this luggage and I went to brave the world. And so far, so good.
So far, so
I can't complain.
You're a free soul, bro. You're a free soul.
Yeah.
That's good. If you take us back to 5-6 years growing up in Brazil, going to school and stuff like that, how was that chapter of your life?
Oh, that was an interesting chapter, because it was when everything happened. I didn't know back at the time, but I had this vein for creative. When I was like this child, I used to be very curious about everything, how things worked in life, like in physics, how the galaxy works, how the planets turn themselves, how the sun can heat the everything that's cold, and how can it produce light. And in some way, I used to be the same way for technology as well. So imagine that I used to live in this small city that usually had 3,000 citizens, and it was like a city that was actually in the domain of another one that usually had 40,000 citizens. But the small city that I've grown up for the first 12 years of my life, it was when everything happened for me. So I usually used to go to church with my mom. My mom was a very religious person, and my city was a very religious city as well. So we used to go as a child to the church, following our fathers, our parents, and moms, just to get educated, And when I used to go there, I had a nice shine when I used to look for the guys playing the band,
Music.
The music. So I had this passion. I discovered back at the church that I had some passion towards music. And then when I was there, I was like, this would be me.
So music was your happy place, was it?
Yeah. For the major part of my life, music was it, right? And videography and photography came later on. the first thing that I discovered that I enjoyed in life was music. And then imagine it was such a challenge to learn music back at that time, because in this city, people they usually how can I say that, they usually didn't have the education necessary to actually read. So some people actually didn't know how to sign their names. Yeah. So for me, imagine I was trying to understand how music works, and I knew that I was in love with music, but I couldn't understand because no one was able to teach, because they couldn't at that time. And I had to learn by just looking. I used to have this woman back at the church, and the band was only her. So she used to have this guitar, and I was like, "Okay, what do you got?" And she said, "You pick this finger and put here, and another finger put here, and another one you put here, and then you have something. But I don't know what is it. I just know that's good." And I was like, all right, so let me try it.
Yeah.
And people in the church said, no, you can't touch the instrument.
So you're just curious.
Yeah, I was just like a curious child, And for the first maybe 2 years, they didn't let me touch the instrument because it was very, very expensive. But as the time goes by, my mom gave me like my first acoustic guitar. And I was able to actually travel from my small city, to the other one that was 40,000 citizens, to get these music classes. And then I stayed like 6 months doing the classes. And then after 6 months, I was already playing some music.
Wow.
And people was
it's
like...
a fast learner.
It was. Nowadays, not so much.
Yeah.
But back at the time, I was quite a fast learner. And after 6 months, I was already playing my first tracks, my first songs. Yeah. And then I started to play at the church as well. So that was my main part that I can remember. Yeah. And as time goes by, I usually was a good student as well. The education back at my city was actually good. It was public, but it was good because we didn't have many people around. So when a professor or a teacher invested time in you, you could feel it. And then all the students back at the time was quite good in learn what they were trying to teach us, because they had like time, patience, and caring for what they were doing.
Yeah, they gave a fuck.
Yeah. They were like, no, you're gonna learn.
That's awesome.
You're gonna learn because I care about you. I care about your future.
Those are the best teachers, man.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that they do it from their heart.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the money.
No, it's not about the money at all.
Yeah.
We're gonna reach there.
Yeah, we're gonna reach there. Okay.
And then when I was 12, my father got divorced, and then my life was from something that was okay to really bad, because...
How old were you at this point?
At 12.
12. Okay.
12. So when I got 12, like my parent had like another child from another girl, and my mom couldn't deal with it, and then they got divorced because she couldn't take it. Okay. And then we moved from this small city that was named Santa Cruz, and we moved across to Santo Antônio de Pádua, and that was my main city for the rest of my life. And then when we moved there, we used to have this small market. I don't know if you... it's like a family market, Like
a vegetable market or like a sales market? Like what? What type of stuff?
Like a supermarket.
Oh, supermarket. Like Coles or like Countdown.
Yeah, not
Pack and Save.
Not that this size.
Okay.
It was like a small supermarket.
Okay.
And we usually we used to do these sales, and we used to live from this business. Okay. And then the business broke.
Wow. Is this still at the age of 12 or?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then when we decided my mom got divorced. We decided to move to another city, and everything was like changing. My mom was a single mom back at the time. It was me and my brother. And then she got to work like for another company to actually give us a life. And then back at this age, she put me in English classes. You can see that it worked kind of well. My English is not that good, but it's not that bad as well. So at least for the major part of the Brazilians, we can speak another language. So I'm counting that I'm okay. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, that's true. Just for the listeners, I just want to do a quick recap because there's a lot going on here. So I just want to just say, so from the early years to 12, like your music, going to school, everything was a happy family. Like everything was fine.
Used to be.
Yeah. And then at 12, your parents got divorced.
Exactly.
And then after that, like things got a little bit challenging. Yeah. You know, that teenage years is so vital. And we've got so many listeners that are from 16 to 24 on VL sessions that listens to these episodes. Me knowing you now, like people can go different ways. And you've probably seen your friends, your communities go different ways. And you know how people, these different parts. What kept you, like helped manage your self-control to keep you on the right path?
Well, this is something that I actually can't understand what happened with my life, actually, because I felt that I always had someone taking care of me. Yeah, because I remember that was like, that wasn't easy. I remember so many situations that I've been like alone for the major part of my life, because mom used to work for like 10, 12 hours per day. My brother was older than me. So imagine at the first city that I've mentioned, we only could go until 8th grade. And then you need to go to the other city to get like from the 8th grade to the 3rd year of high school. And then if you wanted to go to university, then you need to change city again, because we didn't have like this continuously education throughout the one city. So in order to get like educated, you need to move yourself to the big cities. And then the situations that I've been exposed to was like, I don't have anybody taking care of me. So I had to learn how to do my own food. I had to learn how to get my homework done without the help of my father or my mom or even my brother. I had to discover like how to work with a computer. I had to do so many things by myself that it was like quite a challenging stuff. But in the end, I was like having a good time.
And you've built like so much resilience. You know, you've got I can see so much perseverance in you. And to be honest, I'm just going to be honest here. Renan is hands down one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my whole life. And like you growing up in Brazil compared to like us in New Zealand, Australia, and the rest of the Western world is completely different. And how was that picture of, like, can you paint us a little bit of a picture of your teenage years in Brazil?
Yeah, it was like this. Yeah. So
like your day to day, for example.
So imagine I used to go to the school from 7 to 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
7 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I usually had English classes back at the afternoon. Yeah. And then I used to go to the church in the night. Wow. This was it. This was my life for the major part. So imagine when I left home, for example, to go to school, I couldn't see my mom because she already left first than me to go to work. And when I came back for all the activities that I've done for the day, I couldn't see her as well because she was already sleeping because she needed to get up early to get to work in the next day as well. So this was my main days throughout like the whole week from Monday to Sunday. And that was it.
So it must have been was it a lonely journey? Like, and because you were saying you're alone for
Yeah.
quite.
Yeah. Imagine the situation. I used to live with my mom,
Yeah.
and I couldn't see her at the same house. So it was like me and myself and nobody else.
And did you have any role models, or was there anybody that you really looked up to, like at that young age, or was it just you?
Well, when you are at this age,
Yeah.
you can't actually tell that you had like a role model
Yeah.
because you don't know what is it. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like I had I was lucky
Yeah.
to have some people from the church that was actually good people to me.
Yeah.
Imagine I used to have this friend of mine that his name was it is yet Marcos, and this guy teaches me so much because he was my history professor at the school, and when he discovered that I was a musician from the church, he was like, "So you can play?" And I said, "Yeah, I can play." So we have this project here in the school. We're trying to make like a choir. A choir. Would you keen to join us? And I said, why not? And then I started with a relationship with this guy that so far I still have this relationship with him, and I feel like he was a father to me because I had so many conversations with this guy about how I was feeling about like not to have a family, how I was not feeling okay going to school and have to deal with everything that I was going through without anyone to talk about.
Without a mother figure, without a father figure.
Exactly. And then I was struggling financially as well, because imagine yourself with 13 or 14 years old and you don't know where your next dish will come from, like your next meal. How can you figure something like that at this age? So would be actually it was not easy on me. So I had this guy, and this guy was like, "No, you don't worry about anything, because I'm pretty sure that your mother is taking care of what she can, and God is taking care of the rest." And it was like, mom used to go to work. She had this salary. The salary was supposed to take care of the rent and also like some stuff of the market, supermarket. And then the rest was the English classes, and then music classes, and then dentist.
Wow.
That was her money, G.
Wow.
She didn't have money for herself. So as time goes by, me and my mom, we had like some issues like when I was a teenage. But I feel nowadays that it was just like caring for attention, because she was never there. But in the end, nowadays I can figure that she was there. Wow. in her own way. She was trying
She tried her best.
She tried her best to actually not give a shit about me. She was not one of those moms that just leave you for, I don't know, be whatever God intended for you, because I don't give a shit. But this was not her case. She was not present like in person, and but she was financially trying to do it.
So she was trying to. She wasn't present, didn't give you time and attention, but she was providing and trying to do the best possible thing to put food on the table so you can eat.
Exactly. And I remember this situation once that I said to her, the only thing that I wanted from you is not your money, it's just like a hug. And I was like this, trying to understand, but back at the time I couldn't understand that. And she said, you're not gonna understand now, but you're gonna understand this later on. And nowadays I look back and I can see like her taking care of me. And how this turned out.
I get that. It's very emotional.
It's a very sensitive subject. I don't talk too much about it, and
Thanks so much for opening up.
Yeah, that's all right.
And I think
I feel like that somewhere else that might be someone that has the same story than me.
Yeah.
And maybe they can understand now, but they will understand in the future.
Yeah. So
because I don't know if you already thought about that. Our parents didn't know back at that time how to be a parent.
It's true.
And
they were probably kids themselves.
They are probably kids.
Yeah.
They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And nowadays,
so you don't blame anybody.
Nowadays, I don't.
Yeah.
But back then,
you would have resented her a lot.
Yeah.
Back then, but now as you go through the journey, and you're turning 29 now.
Yeah.
Turning 30 actually. Sorry, bro. Turning 30 next year. So like you realize that, like, you know, she tried her best.
Yeah, she tried her best. Yeah. And I have this sentence on my mind that she said to me that was like, hey, I'm not gonna give you like a car or a motorcycle. That's very common in Brazil, to give like your son a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, but I'm giving you education. The education that I didn't have because I don't know how to sign my name. I'm gonna give it to you, and this is something that no one can take from you.
It's true.
Yeah.
The greatest power.
Yeah.
Our friend Ben says this all the time. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. So no, that makes sense, man. And thanks for sharing that part of your life. And I think it really just sets the picture for this next part. I really want to dive into, you know, all the things that you went through in your teenage years, all these experiences. How did you find your path into like the creative outlet? Obviously music was huge, and I think that was a massive play.
Yeah.
But you've literally been, ever since I've known you the last 2 years, you've been one of the greatest storytellers I've ever come across when it comes to visually editing, putting things into picture, creatively putting it out there. And how did you develop this, or did you get inspired, or how did this process start in your journey?
I mean, everything started with the music, and also with life experience. Because if you could ask me, like, how can you tell a story so well? My answer would be because I lived them. So I had like my ups and downs. I had my hills and valleys, and that's actually something that you can take.
Yeah.
So when I'm trying to editing or trying to tell something to someone, I would do my efforts to actually find the soundtrack that can help me
articulate the story.
Articulate their story and actually take the attention of the person. Just when the person is listening to my voice or listening to the voice that I'm putting on the video, and they can find like understanding, they can find meaning. So this is the things that I've trying to do like throughout the storytelling that I've learned from a friend of mine.
Wow. Yeah, I remember because we're in the car and we're talking about this. We're like, you know, like the next 10 years or even now, like it's not about like, because we got so many creatives listening to these sessions and like people think it's all about like the equipment you use and like the things that, you know, it's really not about that. Like you can pull out your phone these days and shoot around. It's your ability to tell a story.
Exactly.
Right?
I feel like the only thing that differentiates us nowadays is how you do it.
Yeah.
Because sincerely, anybody can buy a camera nowadays. Like if you have an iPhone, you can shoot 4K. If you have like a Xiaomi phone, you can shoot 8K. If you have a Samsung phone, you can shoot 16K. So does this make you a better storyteller? Not at all. So in bottom line, what I'm trying to say is gear does matter, but does not matter when you're trying to tell a story. Quality is necessary. You need definitely look for quality, but if you have like a good storyline, you have everything.
You have everything.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And when you say story, like is it like the feelings you want the viewer to get, and like your ability to tell the story and the emotion they feel, and how long that emotion lasts? Exactly. Is probably the most important part, right?
Probably the most.
Because I just want to talk about this a little bit, because we shoot so many wedding films and love stories and like commercial stuff, and you do a lot of festivals and stuff like that as well. Like, isn't it interesting that like the stuff that we have creative attention to, like where we pick the music and we can watch the highlight video over and over again, or sometimes when there's too many opinions on a certain project and it just goes haywire and you don't even want to work on the project. Do you know what I mean? There's been so many times where you make a 5-minute highlight video and we could keep watching it over and over again.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we make another 5-minute highlight video, but we don't want to watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
It just doesn't give us the same feelings.
No. So this is something that you need to build, because some days, I mean, if this is something that we need to think about, because at the first moment you need to be all good. You need to be all right. You need to be good with yourself. I mean, imagine that you wake up on this day and you receive a message that a client is angry with you, or that you, I don't know, a brother or a friend pissed you off. You know, this day will be way harder to get like a good start line.
So your energy matters.
Yeah, energy matters.
Your energy when you...
Yeah. So, for example, instead of sitting at the table and trying to get the job done, don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it, because it will not worth it. Maybe it's better to hit the gym, get your angry like done. Yeah. And maybe do something else, like
get into the right mindset.
Get into the right mindset. Yeah. That's the main thing that you need to do, because as a creative person, if you're not okay, you can feel it on the start line. Yeah. In your final edit, you can feel it that no, this guy didn't put some effort into it. Yeah. Maybe it's not the effort, because the guy was like a full week working on this project, but as he wasn't okay, then the final edit is not okay either.
That's true. I get that. And in terms of like going through the process of creating the final product, right? For you, is it like, because there's probably like people that want to get into what you're doing or get into filmmaking and you know, start the process, because like everyone's making TikTok videos or Instagram videos, or like, you know, like video seems like the way to go. Yeah. And like, what's your advice? Like, is it just pull back and just like make sure you're in the right headspace and make sure you're delivering and things like that? Is if there's like a point of difference that you can give somebody today, what would it be?
Well, do it. Just do it.
Just start.
Just start. Yeah. This is funny because I had like a friend that's actually working with me right now. And I met her at maybe almost 2 years ago. Yeah. I was working in this barbershop doing some highlight video for this guy that actually very good. And he's still doing my hair nowadays. I started to do like this highlight video for this guy, and then her partner just approached me and said like, "Hey, you seem to know stuff. You know, you seem like to be very good in what you do. My partner just would love to actually fall into the audiovisual scenario. Yeah. So it would be great if you can talk to her and give some advice to her." Yeah. And I said, just do it. Do it, because in the very end...
Nike, no copyright.
In the very end, it's going to be worth it. Okay, so. And then she started back at this time. Yeah. She was working like her phone. Yeah. Because it was what she had back at the time. And then 6 months later, she said to me, "Hey, I just bought my first MacBook. I don't know how to use it."
How to use it.
I don't know how to use it. Can you give him some advice? And I said, "Yeah, sweet. So here's my Adobe subscription. I'm gonna share with you because I'm not using that much, because I've switched.
Yeah, I love it.
To DaVinci Resolve. Yeah. And then if you want, you can have my Adobe subscription. I'm gonna pay for it." And she said, "All right, so give it to me." Wow. And then she started slowly to grow, you know? And after that, I came to New Zealand, so I had no contact with her anymore. But when I come back to Portugal, she said, "Oh, you are in Portugal, let's meet, let's have a coffee." And I said to her, "Oh, of course, let's do it." And then I was like, this year we're gonna be wild.
Yeah.
Maybe I have someone. Maybe having someone to work with me would be a great idea.
Yeah.
And I proposed to her like, hey, you know what? I know that you have been with these intentions to getting into visuals. Maybe if you have time, I can't pay you much, but I can teach you stuff. And she said, all right, I totally keen to do it. And I didn't know G, but she had like she was like, how can I say that? When someone quit his
quit her job,
but not by her own will.
She got fired.
She got fired. Yeah,
okay, yeah,
exactly. She got fired from her job.
Yep.
And I didn't know, but she was like trying this visuals thing.
Oh, so she was trying. She had no job. She was trying to work.
She was trying to work with that for the last like 30 days.
Wow.
And she only had money to go like for more 30 days. Wow. Otherwise, if she couldn't make it, she would be like a little bit in a tight space. Yeah. How can
running out of money?
Yeah. How can I pay my rent? How can I do? And stuff, life stuff.
Yeah.
And then I said to her like, well, I need an editor, and then I need you to start thinking like I think. Yeah. So if you're keen to, I can try to pass my vision to you, but pay attention. You need to do exactly how I do. Yeah. Because this is important, because my clients expect to receive something from me. Yeah. And if you can deliver something like with my vision, then I can hire you, I can pay you.
Yeah,
and then she was like, okay, I'm very keen to do it. I will pay attention to everything. I'm gonna grow with you. And she started back then, and she's doing like a terrific job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, like isn't it funny? Like there's this saying that goes like, in order to be the best, you must practice the best, be at it, and copy the best.
Yeah.
You know, they're saying like you have to like practice the best and keep copying it until you master being the best before you bring in your own style.
That's totally true. Yeah. Oh my God, this is totally true.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that I've done for music stuff. There was this woman, she didn't know how to explain to me, but I kept looking. Yeah. I kept paying attention, and then I could do it as well.
And then that's when you add your own flavors and you get more confident. You can articulate better stories. You can edit better. You can have more effects, stuff like that. Yeah. And I think one more thing I just want to add to this point. I think we didn't really touch on this, but like I think the ability to have the confidence to be able to reach out, like how she reached out to you and made the effort, shows that she cared and gave a fuck. Yeah. And like that's exactly like how we met. And a lot of times we live in a world where nobody wants to make the effort, and they think that the money's just going to come, or the job's going to come, or I'm going to get my dream job, or I'm going to get my dream work. True. Like people think it's just going to come to them. But man, how we met is like a dream story. Yeah. You know? And it's funny. I'm just going to quickly say this. It's like Renan literally emailed Feature, and we never reply to any of these emails because we get like 20 of these people like, hey, like I'm coming to New Zealand. Like, do you guys need an extra editor, or do you guys need an extra creative, or, you know, we get so many of these emails. But one day I was sitting on my desk, right? And I got this email, Renan. It's like, hey, this is my portfolio. Would love to work with you guys, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, let's just give this a shot. We're about to go into a real busy season. And we didn't have, like, to be honest, me and Ben were trying to do photo and video, like and trying to keep the company alive. And it was an absolute nightmare when it comes to the feature weddings. And Beowulf was like slowly growing, but making zero money, to be honest. And I remember just sitting and be like, we got to give somebody a try, because me and you ain't doing the job, you know? And sometimes you need the right people at the right time to really elevate it. Yeah. And I remember meeting Renan. We met at a kebab store.
It was a very good kebab.
It was a very good kebab store. Yeah, it was a very good kebab store. And honestly, to this day, I'm so grateful for that moment. And I'm so grateful for you to be able to make the effort to go after something. Yeah. A lot of times people play the victim and they don't even make the effort. Yeah. And I think the way we even met is like a story of its own. And I'm so excited for this, bro. And I just wanted to share that.
No. Yeah. Completely true. Yeah. I mean, that was my whole life. I actually couldn't wait for people to give me stuff. Yeah. Because I received a lot of no's in my entire life. even from my family. I remember some stuff, for example, can I borrow this camera from you?
Yeah.
Or can I borrow this instrument from you? And I received a lot of no's.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? It's when you receive so many no's, you keep going.
Yeah. It's because I actually got so much strength to fight for my own dreams when I received no's.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable because every no that I got, it was like more strength looking for to realize my dreams. Yeah. And I was like, that's all right. I totally understand. You can't do it. You can't lend me. You can't borrow me any stuff. That's all right. I'm going to have on my own, you know? But it's not like I'm not telling this like with a nose pointed towards
like no ego or no, super humble, like
super humble, exactly, because sometimes you can't wait for people to give you stuff.
The chance,
sometimes you need to fight for your own opportunity.
100%.
And that's what I've been doing for my entire life.
Yeah. And it's that saying, like, you know, the opportunity cost. We talk about this at Beowulf all the time, is if you sit there, it's probably costing you more than you actually sending an email and getting the no and then moving on to the next one than expecting something to come back.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of value in that. And if there's a lesson to learn in this session, and if you're a creative, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs and creatives that listen to the session, I think that lesson right there, especially if you're young, if you can just have the confidence to have the ability to reach out. And who knows, man, that connection to get to another connection. Okay, let's talk about today. Okay, today, 2023, 31st, this morning, we went to like a church event, right?
We went to.
And we connected with like a leadership entrepreneur, business owner.
Yeah, it was so unexpected.
Yeah.
Imagine this, we arrived to the church and then we have like at least hundreds of chairs that we could actually potentially sit.
Yeah.
And then we find this one, random one, we pick it up, we sit, and then this couple next to us, hey, is it your first time here? Yeah. And they would say, yeah, it's our first time here. Oh, you're gonna love it. And then in the end of the service, they keep asking us what do we do, and we said like we have like this business where we are wedding photographers and videographers, and we do corporate jobs and stuff like this. Yeah. And then they said, oh no.
Yeah. And what are the chances? Okay, what are the chances? If we stayed home today, we would have got nothing.
Nothing, 100%, nothing.
Yeah.
But they, in the end of the conversation, they say, "Oh yeah, because we are like leaders of entrepreneurs here, and we connect people across every business that this city have." Yeah. And we thought to ourselves, "Oh my. This could be potentially something good to ourselves." And that's something that we need to consider. If you don't do the effort to send an email, to send a message, to flick a hi or hello to someone that you are trying to get or, I don't know, to achieve, you already have the answer. Yeah. The answer is no. That's 100% sure. If you don't do your move, no is what you get.
Yeah, 100%. And I completely agree with this because like I've learned a lot through like sales and stuff like that as well. And there's this thing called like closing the loop, and it's better to get an answer than leave you on the loop. So it's better to follow up and get the no, and end it at the no, or follow up or give them alternative options, because you can always get the yes eventually.
Yeah, you know? That's true.
You can always get the yes.
Yeah. So I do figure, for example, in this world, you need to consider everything, right? But the no is already yours. Yeah. So you don't have to fight for it.
That's true, man.
If you don't send the email, then you already have your answer.
That's true.
So that's funny, because when I arrived to New Zealand, I was like, okay, I was working at Countdown. Yeah. And I was like putting the products on the shelves. And then I was like, okay, this is good, but I could do more.
How satisfied were you at that job, by the way?
I was pretty satisfied.
That's good. That's why I feel like you're just so grateful. like especially growing up in Brazil and stuff like that and going through all of it. Every time I have a conversation, every time me and you are at a shoot, just for the listeners, and I'm like stressing out, and Renan's like, it's gonna be all right, man. Stop worrying. The battery's 20%. It's gonna be all right, man. Don't worry. I'm like stressing about everything at an event or at a shoot.
Yeah.
Or like something that we're creating on a project base. And you're literally just like, don't stress, nice. Trust me, leave it.
It's gonna
so
be
how do you
alright.
create like I feel like we're the total opposites.
Yeah.
I'm like the crazy guy like that's always paranoid about, oh shit, something's gonna go wrong. And you're like, don't stress,
Bro, you are in control.
Yeah.
You need to understand that. If you do the movement, the control is yours. So don't stress about it.
Oh wow.
You don't need to stress about it because the control is yours.
Yeah.
If you need to change anything, you can do it. It's all yours. It's on you. You can do the change. You can be the change.
Wow, you're dropping some real moments on this, Mike. We need to cut that bit up and chuck it on Instagram.
Yeah.
No, that's good, bro. We've been talking for 40 minutes, bro.
Whoa.
We could probably go for ages, to be honest.
Definitely.
Because we're going to do a session every year for the next 10 years.
Yes.
And that's a commitment. We got to shake on that on camera. All right?
It's done.
And it's going to happen.
It doesn't matter where we have. Yeah.
It could be anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
We're going to do it on Zoom. We're going to do it.
We're going to
going to make it happen. Obviously, like we talked about everything, obviously, like, you know, Portugal life and like, you know, you also like, you know, bring people on and you created your own business as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about like, you know, not only your skill and being able to be an artist and a creative, but also the element of being an entrepreneur and also being able to connect people and bring them into your ecosystem and build teams? Because I'm a big believer that the next 10 years is if you don't have the skill to build teams and build systems and create a community, you're not gonna make the cut. So if you think you can do it alone, forget about it.
Just forget it. Just forget it. And this is funny because when I moved from Brazil to Portugal, I used to have this ego about like, I'm not a great videographer, but I'm certain that I can do it. Yeah. And I discovered back in Portugal that I couldn't. Because I started to work in this company named Classic. Yeah. And they used to go, they actually still are a music label company that works for Universal Music Portugal, Warner Music Portugal. They go like for this kind of brands, and that's huge, right? And then when I discovered like how they usually produce their music videos, I was like, what? Do you need 13 people in the set? What? I couldn't understand back at the time, but as time went, I was like, oh, okay. So the camera operator is one person with this skill set. And then you need like a focus pillar and a first assistant. So he can actually be resting while the first assistant is changing the lens from the camera and calibrating the focus. And then you have like the director, you have like the producer that's taking care of everything on the set. You have like so many people involved in the production. Then it came to my realization that, all right, so I need a team. I can't be good at everything. I need to count and believe that someone is willing to actually aggregate skills, creativity, and results with me in the end. Yeah. And that's how business works, right? Because at the moment that you believe that you can do everything by yourself, you are lying for yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
You're lying because it's not true. You need to have people on board that's actually friendly. First thing, right?
Got to get along.
Yeah, because it's an effort. You're gonna be like many hours with this person, and it should be better. It will be better if this person is like friendly, and then if you have like this good attitude, you say to this person, "Can you do like this?" And the person do it. Can you take this from me? And the person take it. Can you like go there and do this? The person go and do. So this is the kind of attitude that you are looking for to run your business and have this person not as your employee, but as a partner.
Yeah.
Because it's a turnaround when you transform people not an employee, but as a partner of your business. Because without this person, you can do it.
100%. That's true.
Yeah. So
People matter, man.
people matter.
People matter.
So this is another lesson that I've learned in this company.
Yeah.
You can have every gear in the world, but if you don't have the human resources to operate it,
The human resources.
then it's not worth it. Because if you don't have people capable of doing it and staying with you throughout the entire process, then you're not gonna have good results. And actually you can have maybe some equipment damaged, for example, because people doesn't care at all. So it's better to have people, to invest in people, because people is the real business.
Man, thanks for being so honest in this session. I really appreciate it. And I think a lot of creatives and a lot of videographers and filmmakers are going to get a lot of insights on this, man. And I really appreciate everything you've shared so far. We'll probably have a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
So talk us through, obviously we talked about storytelling. We talked about, journey in Brazil and, human resources and people matter. We've talked about the past.
Yeah.
We've talked about the present on how we met and where we're going.
Yeah.
I think this last part should be about the future. And at least that gives us something to really talk about, look forward to, because we're recording this session on the last day of 2023. And we've got a lot of things planned for the next 12 months. We don't know how much time me and you have.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer, and I talk about this all the time, that my mission in life is to write a story that beats longer than my heart.
That beats longer than my heart.
And I'm a big believer in, make an impact, but also a lasting legacy and make an impact in the next generation. And that's why we started the Be a Wolf movement and stuff like that as well. And I think for you've made such a huge impact in my life, and you've opened my own eyes in terms of, a new world view. And I think that world view just keeps growing the more time I spend with you.
Oh, cool.
And I think there's so many lessons to, also learn as the journey unfolds. But going into 2024, what are you excited about the most?
Well, we are about to change heaps of things, right?
It's about to go down, is what I'm going to say on camera. And nobody knows.
Yeah, but there's so much going on.
Yeah.
I can't express myself enough to what I have been expecting my whole life, right? Because I had no idea what my actions back when I was in 2018 could bring me here. So I didn't have any idea about it. And nowadays I sit here and I'm looking for 2024 and the following years. I can see that sometimes it's just something that you need to do it.
Yeah.
You need to go for it. Maybe you are overthinking something, but don't do it. Just do what's important now. Because I really think that this will gonna take you to where you should be.
Yeah.
And for 2024, I don't know. What do you reckon?
No, I think you're right, and I think a lot of times as this new year starts, a lot of people have a little bit of momentum for the first 4 to 6 weeks, and then they lose it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hype, and that trend that the 2023 season has come to an end. This is my highlight reel. Everybody's following the fucking trend, and I'm like, fuck that. Stop being a sheep. And what I want to say on this session is go into 2024 and really be honest with yourself. All right, if nobody was fucking watching, would you still be doing the things you're doing?
Probably.
Yeah. And that is when you are aligned with your fucking vision.
Yeah.
And I think that's the
because it doesn't matter if
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if no one in the audience can applaud you.
Exactly.
Because you do whatever is the right thing for your heart.
100%. And I'm a massive believer in this, is your job as an artist is to create the art that you wish to exist in the world.
Yeah.
You're not here to please
anyone.
anyone. And if you can do this, and I promise you for long periods of time, because me and Renan, we both know that this is not about the short game. This is about the long game.
Yeah.
And there's not many people that can go the distance.
Yeah.
And when
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
And if you can find people with the same energy, with the same world mindset and the vision, and I think if you're struggling for that, I think that might be the first step going into 2024.
Oh, definitely, 100%. I couldn't agree more, G. Because I really think that sometimes you make the effort to just like change your life for, like you said, like for the first weeks or first months of the year, and then when July comes, it's just like, oh my God, what happened to my year?
Yeah. And you're already planning for 2025?
And then you go and just open the dreams, checklist. And then you just change the year because the dreams kept the same.
Yeah, 100%, man.
But I mean, you need to stop doing this, right? You just need to follow your heart for everything, because I'm a big believer that God will not allow you to lose yourself to anything or anybody just because, it's just like, keep doing what you're doing, keep believing in what you believe, and this will make the path through everything and gonna lead you to the place where you should be.
Yeah, 100%.
Around the people that you need to be, around the I don't know, maybe the partner, the relationship that you will have for your life and stuff like this.
100%.
So just don't give up.
Yeah.
Keep going.
That's it. Man, I remember, just before you end the session, I remember we were driving on Mission Bay 12 months ago, and we're having this conversation about money. Yeah. And and I was telling you, man, I'm just so stressed out. Like I've risked it all. Like if people knew how much money I had in my bank account, like it would be funny, And I remember telling you, and he's like, you're like, bro, just like stop worrying about that. Like you told me, you're like this. You will only run out of money when you stop trying.
Yeah.
Because even the examples that we put on the table today is your effort to reach out, your effort to try one more email, your effort to move towards and get off the couch and maybe go to a community. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be a church. Obviously today we went to a church, but I know there's a lot of other listeners. Just do something and it will happen.
Yeah. Money will come through.
That's it.
Yeah. Money will be like a consequence of your own attitudes.
Yeah.
So just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
100%. Man, thank you for this week, this last session of 2023. It was an absolute banger.
Pleasure.
And I just want to say thanks for everything that you've done. And you're literally the lead creative director of Future Weddings and Future Studio. And thank you for being part of our journey. And thank you for believing in both our visions. And I'm so happy that you sent that email.
Yeah.
And
me too.
And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be here today.
That's not true.
We're recording the session in Australia, by the way, because I live two lives, and my house is on the Tasman Sea. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do the things I do and the things I care about. And you changed my life, man. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate that, G.
Thanks for tuning in to another Beerwall session. Make sure you chuck us a review. And if you enjoyed the session, I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of our listeners for 2023. I was looking at my wrap up and it said the podcast grew by 69%.
What?
From 2022.
Congrats, G.
So we're slowly climbing. Remember, this is the long game. See you in 10 years. Peace and love.
Peace.